Shalom, hello, I'm Marcus Fried. Welcome to the Yoga of Kabbalah. This is your free training series. This is day one, your very first video. So welcome, I'm very happy to see you here. Let's just set an intention that through this learning, through these 7 videos, you can really experience greater clarity of mind, a stronger body, more vitality, and that you should be able to unblock anything which is holding you back and anything which is stopping your divine light shining out into the world. So as a result of this training, you should be able to be stronger, clearer, more full of vivaciousness, full of vitality, and your divine mission should really be able to come to the fore. Okay, maybe that's a tall order, so let's get started. So I've called this the Yoga of Kabbalah. It could be called the Kabbalah of Yoga. What it's really about is taking Kabbalistic wisdom, Kabbalistic teachings, and experiencing them through the body. And this is something I've been developing in my teachings, in my writings, initially touched upon in my first book, the Kabbalah Sutras, and something which will really be explained a lot more clearly as a system in my next book, the Kabbalah Sutras. And to the best of my knowledge, it's the first time there's ever been a very clear system for experiencing this Kabbalistic wisdom through the body. Now, the first place that I became aware where the physicality and the spirituality is really deeply connected is in the Tikkunei Zohar. The opening, the introduction to the Zohar, which is the book of enlightenment or the book of illumination. Book of brilliance, book of splendor, many various ways of translating it. But what the Zohar explains in the Tikkunei Zohar, in this opening, is how there are these different sphirot. A sephira, like the English word sphere, a sphere is a kind of circular energy. It's almost a feminine energy of God, a divine energy. And the Tikkunei Zohar explains how these different energies are located within them. Today we're going to focus on the yoga of love, of Chesed. Now, loving kindness, or Chesed, resolves and resides within the right arm. I've spoken a little bit about this elsewhere, but let's just refresh ourselves. Why is this idea connected with the right arm? Because for right-handed people, which is a lot of us, if not most of us, when we give, we're going to be giving with this right arm first, or when we shake hands, we'll be reaching out with the right hand. So it's just really a concept. It's nothing to get too hung up on. And elsewhere in the Zohar, it really explains how every single part of the body has all of these other energies within it elsewhere. But this is really just the general introduction. So how would you know if you have a Chesed or a loving kindness deficiency? How might you be experiencing it? Well, one aspect could be there might be a lack of abundance in your life. You might feel that you don't have enough. You might have a sense of harshness or a sense of coldness in the way you're being. You might be feeling like you need a bit more. You're not getting enough out of the relationships that you have, be it your lover, your partner, your spouse, your friendships, children, parents, colleagues, anything. You might feel generally you want to turn up the number, turn up your love, your Hesed quotient. In terms of the Kabbalistic idea, Chesed relates to the forefather Avraham, which his Hebrew name means the father of many. And he was known really as a Baal Chesed, a person who embodied and epitomized loving kindness. And so he found many different ways to give to people. And the famous story is about how he sat in the entrance of his tent after he'd been circumcised. He was sitting in the blazing hot desert waiting for guests to come in. The guests ended up being angels. But his real focus was on how many different ways can I love? How many ways can I speak of love? Now, within a yogic context, there are various different ways of approaching the same idea, and this is parallel. I'm not saying that the Kabbalah is the yoga or the yoga is the Kabbalah. They're two different disciplines, but what we're looking at is the conversation between the two. And after this brief theory, this small little lecture, I'm going to give you a practical yogic exercise where you can really put this into play. So the Yoga Sutras, written by Patanjali, talk about 3 different principles which are similar to Chesed. One is ahimsa, which is non-violence. It's kind of like the reverse way of talking about giving. And ahimsa really is refraining from anything negative, the idea being that there's going to be positive left over if you don't have anything negative. It's kind of like looking towards the higher ideal of the human state. Then there's the idea of karma yoga, the idea of a yoga practice which is very similar to the Kabbalistic or the Hebraic concept of mitzvot, of a commandment. So karma yoga is doing something good for other people. I remember a friend of mine at a yoga studio in London. She was working there. She put up a big sign saying karma yoga, wipe down your mat, roll it up and put it away at the end of class. In other words, you're doing a good deed for the next person who's going to use the mat. So in karma yoga, we think of how our yogic actions aren't just on the yoga mat themselves in terms of the physical asana or vinyasa practice. It's actually taking this yoga out into the world. Then there's also the idea of bhakti yoga. Bhakti literally is a form of love-based or heart-centered yoga. So there are many different ways to apply this. So that's a whole load of information. The question is, how are you going to use this chesed, this idea of godly loving kindness, godly giving, divine giving, and these yogic ideas, how are you going to wrap them up all into your yogic practice? We're going to have now a brief yoga practice. I'm going to talk you through it. So just, you can either pause and then get yourself ready on the mat, or just keep on flowing if you're already there. So let's prepare. Over to the yoga segment. Today's posture is Trikonasana, or triangle pose, and try to really do this posture not thinking so much about the form, but playing out this principle of Chesed, of loving kindness. So begin with your left foot parallel to the left edge of the mat. Step your right foot approximately a meter apart, with your right heel in line with your left insole. Then draw up on both of the thigh muscles, reach your arms straight out, and reach your right hand over towards either your right thigh or your right shin or your right ankle or foot. I'm less concerned about the shape of the posture. Really make sure that you're breathing, you're going to as far as you can comfortably go, again whilst practicing loving kindness. So with your right hand placed at some point on your right leg or your right foot, reach your left fingertips up towards the sky, rotate your torso, draw the muscles up on your legs, and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're going to reverse the posture, so make sure your right foot is now parallel to the right edge of the mat. Your left foot is pointing in the other direction. Reach your hands back up and reach your left hand over towards your left thigh or your left shin or your left foot, and your right hand reaches up towards the sky now. And bring your attention really to this right arm. The right arm is the limb of Chesed, the limb of loving kindness. And as you breathe deeply, just meditate upon a sense of loving kindness towards yourself, towards your body, towards your soul. Keep breathing deeply. And slowly come back up to a standing position. Another aspect of Chesed is divinely connected. And there is a phrase which refers to one of God's 13 attributes. It's in the Bible, in the Torah. And God is called Rav Chesed, which literally means overcome or overflowing with loving kindness. Or as my friend Rabbi Dr. Raphael Zaram calls it, the literal translation of Rav Chesed is Rabbi Love, so you can call God Rabbi Love. But either way you cut it, it's the idea of trying to increase this loving quotient within yourself so that you're literally overflowing, so that you can give as much loving kindness towards other people. So today I want you to think about 3 different ways that you can apply this. Firstly, in terms of the inner meditation, with your yoga practice, with your physical practice, how can you be more loving towards yourself? How can you really internalize this and actually just feel this? Maybe there are areas where you're not taking care of yourself as much as you could. Really try to think, where can you apply this chesed, this loving kindness towards yourself? Secondly, think about the global consciousness, the universe, God, however you choose to see the oneness. Think about your connection there and try to experience this love coming towards yourself, so you're experiencing it from both angles. Really think about all the different ways that you feel loving kindness coming towards you. You could make a gratitude list. You could be thankful for the fact that you've got a computer or some kind of device to actually watch this video, that you've got a body with which to practice it, that you've got a mind to comprehend it. Go through all of your different gratitudes. And then finally, really look throughout the day, how can you then take this into the world? How can you spread your loving kindness, your chesed with other people? So take this out there and really apply it today. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you pick up your copy of the Kabbalah Sutras. There's a link below telling you how you can get your copy of the Kabbalah Sutras, and if you do it in the right way, you'll get a signed copy. It'd be my honor to sign it to you and write a personal message. That is available. Thank you very much for watching, and feel free to share this with your friends. I'm Marcus Fried. Be happy, stay happy, celebrate life, and have a fabulous day. Shalom.